Good morning, you guys. It's time to rise and thrive. That's what this podcast is about bringing you some energy. We focus on four core principles that I believe in, which is faith, family, finances, and fitness. And so we're going to talk a little bit about one or all of those today because the world out there is freaking crazy and it's negative all over the place. We're going to bring some positivity to you. So I have my good friend Chad Montgomery with me today, and we are super excited to hear his story. Welcome, Chad.
Hey, nice to be here. Thanks. I appreciate it. So
heck yeah. Now, for those that don't know you, because there might be a couple out there, give everybody a little bit of your backstory, where you are in the world and what you do for a living.
Gotcha. So I'm in just North Dallas. So I like to do a lot of not when I say North Dallas, I mean above Dallas. So I like to get out there a little bit. I do a lot of land, farm, and ranch, things like that. I still, we're in a luxury market where I'm at, where I currently live. So we do that, and we just have a lot of really cool niches. And land happens to be one of them. I see land appreciating at a pretty good pace. So it's like, well, start identifying that. I know a thing or two about land, so it's like, hey, that's a great niche. But I've been around for a little while. I started off in a small town that's not so small anymore in Anna, Texas. This was back in 2021, but it was a 2001. So you go back 20 years from that.
Yeah.
But so I've been doing this for a while. Seen a lot of changes in the market. Obviously, I mean, I was around here in 2007, 2008, and I had my own brokerage in Southern California. I tell you, 2008, that is not the place in the world you wanted to be in 2008. So very quickly, I found my way back home to Texas, and from there, it's just we got to do we survived that, did a lot of things. Also, I did loans for a little while. Found out that's not my calling either. Like it was, did them very well, and now, I mean, there was a lot of great things that, I got education on, but I've got a great lender. So I'm going to let him take over that and stick with what I know and what I know that I'm good at. And that's real estate. I love, almost every aspect of it. And from there, I mean, I think this is where me and you met too, NAEA. So I coached for NAEA for a while. I'm also the co-founder of the Modern Day Mentor, which a lot of people don't even know that this is out yet. But me and Joe Bertman started off a totally new thing, Modern Day Mentor. So the co-founder of that provides mentorship, marketing, how to get leads, I kind of got my hand in a lot of different buckets, and I love every single one. I love every single bit of it. So
and you're currently running a team as well.
Rundown about me.
Yeah. And you're currently running a team as well, right?
Yes. So I am the team lead of Texas on the modern day team. So whole state of Texas, running a fairly large group, actually. So
yeah.
We're excited about
super cool fact, he's moved over to Real with us as well. And how long have you been with Real now, Chad?
I've been with Real, oh my goodness. It doesn't seem like that long, but it's actually so when we were in New York City, that was actually my first week. So when was that? That was like
oh my gosh, when was that?
Like I'm gonna say
June, maybe May, June, somewhere
June,
there?
July, August.
Somewhere in there.
I said 3 months. I think it's like four going on 5 months. So
yeah. What's your thoughts so far?
It's been amazing. It's been a great ride too. So that's the people that I've met, phenomenal. So
yeah. Oh yeah. All right. So I want to go back what you said about your independent brokerage in California. Number one, why did you go to California and why did you open an independent brokerage?
So I actually had a friend in Huntington Beach, and back then I was in my 20s. So it was just like, wait, so you're invited, you want me to come help you run a business, and real estate was just blowing up. It's just like hold on. Yeah, you're qualified. Go buy a house. Spend whatever you want. So it was just like, okay, well, so yeah, let's go do that on a much higher level, sell $1 million houses. And it worked that way. We even bought some of our own just because of why not?
Right.
And so we did that. I moved, me and another friend, we went to Huntington Beach, and we're in the Orange County. We're like, we made it. We're in Orange County, California. This is it. This is amazing. And then 2007, it was just like, we were owning all these houses too. And it's like, well, yeah, now they're worth like, 20 cents on the dollar. And like,
Oh yeah.
some investors, they were like, hey, we'll buy the bundle for you for a little bit more. So I profited a little bit. I took my profit and I came back to Texas and called it a
Heck
day.
yeah.
You know what? Nice experience. I don't think I'm going to go back to California now, though. So,
All right. So when you
I think now it's the exact opposite. We've got a lot of California coming here. So
for sure. Oh yeah. Like get me the hell out of that Looney Tune place.
yeah, definitely.
When you had your independent brokerage open, how many agents what was your max that you got up to?
So in California, we kept it small and tight, and we stayed around 8 agents. And we all worked at the same spot. Had a little loft on the top. It was right off the beach. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. It was
I bet.
it was really great.
Huntington Beach is cool as crap.
Yeah, I mean it was super cool. It wasn't kind of the further south you go. I mean, you're going to get to like Newport Beach, and if you're not a member of their yacht club, like you don't really belong there. And if when you go to Laguna Beach, it's like you probably just don't belong there. But as you keep going, you run into like Dana Point, and San Clemente, and you always go down to San Diego. You had options, and it was just like we'll just kind of follow the one, and just stay along the beach.
Oh, yeah.
That was my whole theory behind it. If you've ever seen a Texas boy try to surf, not a good thing to see. I can tell you that right off the bat.
No, I bet not. So they say, like when running a team, so I like research all this stuff. So they say when running a team, the most profitable ones are 10 agents or less, or 10 members or less. What's your thought about that?
No, I 100% agree. I think, I have friends that, they've got 40, 50, 60 agents. They have a ton of agents, but really, you're going to have that small amount that is going to actually be, that's going to be doing all the work.
Yeah.
And I broke down the numbers on all this as well. So on a team, that's the exact same team. On that team, at one point there were 50 some odd agents. I did the breakdown. I think there were 5 total agents that were doing over. I think it was right at 90% of the transactions, and all the rest. It was they accounted for just the rest of the total sales, of course, which was maybe 10%, probably less than 10% of the sales. So you're providing them all of your, you're providing them all of your resources. You're providing them your time. You're providing them all this extra stuff. And I'm sitting there just thinking like, well, not to sound like this, but it is like this. You're carrying a lot of dead weight that could easily just be cut off, and then focus more on the people that are doing what you want them to do, the people that show up. That's my big thing. It's like, if you can't do anything else, show up. And if you can show up, I can help you with the rest. But if you just can't show up, I can't help you with anything. And unfortunately, there was we had a member on our team that I thought was, he was energetic, excited. He showed up for like 3 days, missed a day, missed another day, and had 4 excuses of why he couldn't make it. And I'm just at that point now. It's like, I really don't want to hear that. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to part ways. And I hope you do well. If you ever need me, you can reach out and ask me questions, things like that. But as far as for our team, it's just not going to be a good fit.
No. So then you got rid of the independent brokerage. You came back here to Texas. And for you guys that don't know what NAEA is, National Association of Expert Advisors. And Chad was coaching there. So Chad, you've worked with agents like for years, and going back to that when you were coaching for NAEA, what do you see as the number one bottleneck of agents producing at a high level, or producing even at all?
No, that's a great question too. So there's all kinds of bottlenecks. Like as your business kind of progresses and grows, at one level you're going to have the bottleneck's going to be completely different than from let's say 1 to 10 transactions to 10 to 20 transactions. Like so your bottleneck is never going to be the same bottleneck for depending on where you're at in your business. I would say right now the majority, I think this is a misconception too, but I could ask 100 agents what they need in their business right now, and I believe that I would get 90% of the answers would be, well, I need more leads. And I disagree with that wholeheartedly. You don't need leads. You probably need accountability, or you probably need the ability to convert the leads at a much higher level. And if you were able to do that, you probably wouldn't need more leads.
Yep.
So that's I hear a lot of that, like, hey, Chad, what do you know, how can you help me with leads? And what, like I said, we do have a system for that. But I like to screen and say, like, do you really need leads? Show me your books. Let me see what's going on. What's your conversion rate? If
Yep.
your conversion rate's not there, you don't need leads. Like, that's just, I mean, that's just it. You're wasting. I mean, that's it. It's killing your ROI because now you're spending money, and I'll break this down mercifully quick, but you're spending too much money and dropping your ROI, spending the money on leads, hoping that they'll convert when you don't have the strategy or the skill set to convert them.
So there's another like formula about buying leads. So, or not even just buying leads, but spending money, period, where an investment like in a real estate person, buying leads, marketing, whatever, is supposed to bring you 3 times. So if you invest 10 grand into something, you should get 30 grand back. I think, and I know, like I build my business always on online lead gen. I just can't, because I went through the '08 crash like you did, and I was a lender just like you. And it was like, oh my gosh,
all right, yeah.
So, get me out of this shit. And then 8, 9, and 10 were super dark for me. And then I was like, I'm done being a lender, went back into real estate sales, like full time, was just like max out my cards buying leads because I was just like, I'm going to make it happen by myself and I'm going to do it. So I believe in online leads, but what I believe now more so than anything is that teams and agents on teams feel entitled to these leads and they don't want to do anything but sit and wait for the leads to come in or work them, and they forget to actually how to go out there and get business. Like, what are you going to do if we cut off your lead flow? How do you survive?
The short answer to that is they don't. But
They don't.
And I see this all the time. Any agent watching this right now, if you're on Facebook, I know that you're about to agree with this and be like, oh, I see this all the time. So if you're looking at and I'm part of all these groups, and some of them I don't comment in, some of them it's just like the questions are just so ridiculous. I can't tell if it's like clickbait or if they're actually being serious. So I'll answer the question somewhat sarcastically, but it's the way that the questions are phrased. It's, I don't have a sphere. My broker is going to make me cold call. How do I get leads and how do I get transactions ASAP without cold calling, without door knocking, I'm like, okay, so if you need leads ASAP, why are you cutting things out that you probably should do? And why are you not listening to your broker? Like, you're a brand new agent and your broker's not brand new. Why would you not trust the person you chose to go under? Like, that makes no sense to me at all. So it's just like, however I could help you, you wouldn't listen to me either. So I'm not going to waste my time telling you.
No. And as you look through like the past even 8 years, where we had kind of a flat line going on for like 18, 19, then of course COVID hit and everything went crazy and all these people went and got their licenses because they're like, oh my gosh, look how much money I'm making in real estate and it's so freaking easy. And then guess what? June of 2022 came along and it was like, interest rates are going up and no more sales are happening. And now we're 2.5 almost years into this crap. What are you seeing and dealing with since all of that? And because you've maintained a high level of production, high level of success, you lead other agents. What is that common denominator that you've just like drilling into people?
So there's one thing, I mean, I don't believe being a jack of all trades. Like, it's good to have a working knowledge of some of these things, but a lot of the simplest things are some of the things that are going to get you the leads the fastest. It's going to get you where you want to go the quickest. So everyone on our team, this is what we do. It's just something that happens. So at 8 o'clock, when you're able to start making phone calls we still call expireds. We still circle prospect. We still do these things. And, I still do live events. And then I thought this was hilarious. And this just kind of goes back to what I was saying a while ago. I was doing an event and we had probably about 50 agents there learning. And I was like, hey, the new way to get listings. And then I started talking about calling expireds. And, an agent will say that's been in the industry for a little while. So this ain't new. This is what we did back then. I'm like, no. The way I'm about to show you is new. I'm like, you need to listen to this. It was dead set against it the entire time. I'm not making phone calls. Like, I'm not doing. And it's amazing to me. I'm like, why? You came here because you wanted to improve your business and you're not listening to a word I'm saying. So after I made a few phone calls and I set like 3 appointments, like right there in front of all.
Right there live
in front of them. And I was like, okay, so you can kind of tell when the phones are hitting, when it's a good time to call, when it's not a good time to call. But I was like, hey, why don't you come up here? We've gone over the script. Come up here and make a phone call. I was like, I'll tell you what. I was like, if you don't get an appointment, I will work with you one-on-one until you get 3 listings. Not 3 listing appointments until you get 3 listings. She came up to her very first phone call. She set an appointment and never made another cold call again. So it kind of goes back to, the whole production in the industry really is going to focus around. I think it's also going to focus around mindset. It's what you are willing to do and what you're not willing to do.
Oh, yes.
And like I said, I mean, we run ads, we run, we do all the other stuff too. But when people are saying like, hey, I want listings, like I need listings, I need to do this, but I don't want a cold call, but I don't want a door knock, but I don't want a circle prospect, I'm like, then you really don't want it.
No.
I mean, I'm confused by the fact that you're going to ask, like, how do I do this? And then say, okay, I don't want to do any of that. How can I do it without doing that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. I'm like, so you're asking like, a better question would have been like, how do I make $10 million without working? So
is there a magic pill for that, Chad?
No, I haven't found it. Like, I think I've been doing this for a while now, and I'm like, I haven't found it. I mean, if you found it, please share. But
right,
I just haven't found it.
So when you're looking at, like right now, we were talking before we got on, like listings in a lot of areas are struggling to sell. And I was with a lady last night. She's about 80 years old. She's a client of ours, but she used to be in real estate. She was in it for like 30 years. And I told her, I was like, look, when you're in real estate, like the market that we're dealing with right now is relentless. I've never seen a market like this. I've been doing this for 22 years. It's crazy. But exactly what you said, we get up every day and we continue doing what we do. Chad, most people I see are, and I think they have some imaginary bill payer. I don't know where they get this one from, but they don't seem to have to work or pay bills, which blows my mind. You just talked about cold calling, getting listings and all of that. Is this something new, Chad?
Something new, like cold calling? Or
yeah. Is it some new formula, new technique that you're doing?
No, it's kind of the same. We have new scripts. We have, we kind of, we rewrote we did a lot of our scripts, to do, like the post NAR settlement kind of things and stuff like that. And that's really catchy. But I mean, the biggest thing that we're doing is, when people call, and I'm going to give out just some free advice, if you were at an event, I'm going to shorten it a bit, but we don't have the full hour for me to go over all this. But the biggest thing that you can do is have someone drop their guard, because as soon as you call and they know that you're a realtor, they know their house is expired. They know that it's been canceled. They know they know that they've withdrawn it off the market. They know that. So when you're calling and saying things like, hey, this is Chad. I'm a realtor in your area. We're just, calling about the house that's expired. Are you going to relist it? I would love to apply for that job. Well, you're going to get hung up on. I mean, I'm sorry, but like that's the reality of that, is you're going to get hung up on because you haven't added any value and you didn't do it quick enough. You need to add value and you need to do it quick. And if you want them to listen, they have to drop your guard from hearing the value that you're putting on, that you're putting out there to them. And if you're not giving it, they're not hearing it. You're not getting that listing appointment. And so I've even gone a step further now. I mean, a lot of the live events I do is like, okay, what do you do after you get a listing appointment? Because that seemed to be another big bottleneck in listings was, okay, I've got the appointment, but Chad, like every appointment I run, like no one hires me. I'm like, what? It's like, tell me about your listing, what's your listing presentation? What's it look like? And they're like, what do you mean? I brought them comps and they didn't like my price. I'm like, okay, here's what we got to do next. Now we have to have an actual system of how and when and what order you go through your listing presentation.
Yeah.
So So I mean, since then, I mean, we've got, like I said, with the modern day mentor, we've got a good handful of clients now, of agents that we're helping and be able to do all this. And that's something I think. What was that? That's been a long time ago since we met at NAEA. But
oh my gosh,
it was a passion of mine then. It's a passion of mine now, is helping other agents be able to grow. So,
and get listings, because at the end of the day, even though some are struggling to sell right now, we know this market is going to end. I mean, this too shall pass. And at the end of the day, if you've got the listings and you're holding market share, you're going to be the one that's owning the market. This is money in the bank, typically.
100%.
You walked through a call and you're like, hey, you're not going to get that call. Give us, like you said, when you did this live event, you made 3 calls, you got 3 freaking appointments just like that. What should they be saying to, not the whole thing, but like, what should somebody be calling to say?
Gotcha. So, I mean, when you're calling, one of the first things that I want to do is I want to drop their guard. So the way that I'm going to drop their guard is, you know, I've been hung up on so many times for saying so many, so much, different stuff. Sometimes you are going to get hung up on, just know that. But one of the things that I'll start off the phone call and let's, we'll do just a mock call real fast, but
yeah.
I can see who, we use, different calling systems and stuff like that, but I can see who the owner is of the property. So, I'll call, I just say, hey, Bob, this is Chad. So we're on a first name basis right now, automatically. It's not, hey, Mr. Smith. It's not anything like that. I'm just like, hey, Bob, this is Chad. I don't say this is Chad. I'm the realtor with Real Brokerage or anything like that.
Okay.
I tell them exactly who I am. And I'm like, hey, first of all, let me ask you a question. Did you know that your house is no longer on the market? It's rhetorical. They should know, but sometimes they don't. So I want to ask just to make sure that they do know. And like, yeah, we had to pull it off. Well, by asking that question, it incites them to ask you questions, to tell you a story. And they're going to tell you a story about why they took it off the market. When they do that, there's your chance to start kind of gathering their information. We used to call it, just kind of gathering ammo, to put in that box. And so at that point, when they're talking, like I started doing this. I started putting my hand over my mouth so that I don't talk. It lets me know that this is not the time for me to talk. So I'm listening. I'm like, great. So now what are your plans for the house? And go back to just to not talking, but I'm like, okay, great. And and now I'm here, and I don't know if you guys are hearing some of these objections, or I don't really call them objections, but just some of the things that people are wanting to do to their house. Like, I'm going to rent it out.
Oh yeah.
How many properties do you own? That's none. So cool. How many rental properties too? None at current. Great. And so that takes us down a whole nother deep rabbit hole. But the other one would be like, well, I guess we're going to wait back till for spring to come back and go wait till seasonality. And I'm like, okay. I mean, how familiar are you with the rates right now? What do you mean? Like, how's it sell in the springtime, right? I'm like, yeah, but no. I mean, they sell year round. So this is one of the best months that I've ever had was actually in December.
Yeah.
So, and that's something that I don't think that people really understand is it's when the market is moving, Yep. A lot of people move in the spring and summertime because that's when their kids are about to get out of school. There's a lot of different reasons, but when things warm up, a lot of people in general, I mean, if we look at, some of, I don't know, Walmart's biggest months, I'm going to go with their spring and summertime too. And I know that to be, statistically true.
Yeah.
But it's also the same time. It's because people get out more. The weather's nice. Things are warmer, especially here in Texas. So, but that's the time that more people get out and they start looking to do more transactions as far as whether it's with retail, consumer. I mean, purchasing products from stores. They always do better in that time frame. But is that always the best time you should buy real estate? It might be. Absolutely not.
No.
So, I mean, right now, I think things are kind of, I'm seeing more of my listings. They're getting more and more offers. Last one we did, we had multiple offers on it. And I posted, the last post I think that I made, we just finished out a 13 home development.
Nice.
And of 1 acre lots. And so we went from everything from starting off with 50 acres that they wanted to develop and, getting it platted, getting water to it, doing all these different things, getting conveyances, putting everything together. And they sold like crazy because people do want a little bit of space now.
Yeah.
So it's just, where are you marketing? What are you doing? And like, how is it working? And I think, if you have no sphere of influence, if you have all these things, you need to be contacting, a certain amount of people, a day. And
what number is that, Chad?
And it's kind of, it's crazy. I still have it wrote down right here from the last call that I did. It's a breakdown of somebody else of what they wanted to do this year that they've already passed, but it's a breakdown on how to do $120,000. That's $10,000 a month.
Yep.
And it's not that hard. I mean, I'll tell you, it says it's 300 calls a day. And if you've got a triple line dialer, if you've got something like that that's working, that takes you about an hour and a half.
Oh yeah.
You can dedicate an hour and a half of your day to doing that. That breaks down to 2 listing appointments that you should have. I mean, just based on the numbers in your conversion and everything. So out of those 2 listing appointments, total, you're looking at 5 total listing appointments per week. Out of the 5, I think you should get at least 3 if you're doing a proper listing presentation.
Yes.
So, in 1 week, that for me, that was I ended up with 20 listings, and we were talking about this earlier. Listings, they are sitting on the market a little bit longer. I have not given up on them because when things flip, they're going to flip fast. And I think the agents out there that know, for a long-term game, that are holding the listings and they're explaining this properly to their clients, that have the listings that they're going to sit, but when they're done sitting, they're going to sell. You're going to have multiple offers. They're probably going to sell for more, for over listing price. Here's how this is going to work. And they're able to explain that to them, hold the listings, extend the terms, and you're going to be pretty well set when the market does change. So I think, I know a lot of agents are just kind of giving up on listings, saying, well, I need to go to buyers. There's nothing wrong with going to buyers. I think there is something wrong with giving up on listings, though.
I do too.
So
I love what you said, number one, about, because we were big believers in cold call and we do role playing and all of that. I think it's critical because you have to practice. I like how you ask a question like, did you know your home is off the market? I love that. See, we usually go straight in like for the appointment, and we usually do like state your name and who you are and the purpose of your call. So it's like, hey, it's Trisha with the Trisha Turner Group calling you about your house at 123 Main Street. I noticed that your home was off the market. Did you know that? I love that. Like, because you're asking a question.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, the everything that I do, it's going to end in a question mark.
Yeah.
So like,
I love it.
if people ask me a question, most of the time, it's like, no, I think that's a great idea. What did you think? Like,
there's so many people that train, like I listen to cold calls all the time because we run a team too. And the common agent, average agent makes these calls. And when they do, they call they announce who they are. And usually this long drawn out, introduction. And then they ask the person on the line, how are you? When people call and ask me that, I'm like, click.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, as realtors, we get these kind of calls all the time anyway. So I mean, my big thing is like, I don't have time to tell you how my day is right now. So do you really want to know? Like, I mean, well, I'll take your time. I can tell you how my day is going, but it's because every day is a long day. I mean, last night I think I got in at like 10:30 last night from looking at another 160 acres that, I'm like,
nice.
Hey, let's do it. Like, I've been doing developments. I'm kind of liking this whole development thing.
Yeah.
It's more fun for me. It's a lot of fun for me, but realistically, I mean, yeah, do you want the single family residents? Absolutely. You need those in order to keep your business going and to be able to survive. So I think one of the other great things that we do on these calls is we're asking them questions as if like, okay, and this is I'm gonna give out, this is another like it's a writer downer. So if you're watching this, write this down. Go out and find some investors. Investors right now, they're more than willing to work with you.
Oh yeah.
Find some investors and like, hey, look, if I were able to get a house, it was, let's say, I don't know, maybe $100,000 under listing price or under market price. Is that something you'd be interested in? They're going to say yes all day, every day, because I mean, if you came to me and said, hey, Chad, would you buy a house if it's $100,000, under market price? Sure. Send me the information. Let me take a look at it. I'd be interested at least. So if you have 3 good investors that, that will buy the property, because you'll get hit with like, hey, yeah, I'm really busy. Are you a realtor? Are you trying to list my property? Actually, I was going to see if you were interested in taking a cash offer.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, and their demeanor changes right then.
Oh yeah.
They no longer see you as that annoying real estate agent who's calling me to list my house, and the last one didn't sell it. How are you any different? It's like, well, because like if I can't sell it, if it's just not sellable, I'll buy it.
Right.
Is that fair enough? And they're like, yeah, okay. So, and after that, and I'm pretty much almost giving my whole. So I'll go ahead and do this. Anybody watching this, if you just want the scripts, just let me know. I'll send them to you. But at this point, it's like, well, yeah, I might as well just send you the scripts. But
why not, right?
Yeah, like I have no problem with that. But at that point, it's like, look, let's do this. I need to see the house anyway, whether we do cash or whether we relist it. Let me come by, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the difference between what a cash offer looks like and between if I sell it, what that looks like. Fair enough? And a lot of people don't like the fair enough, like other coaches and stuff like that. Is that fair enough? Like, because that's how I would talk. That's what I would say naturally. So, but my response is like, okay, well, I'm like, great. I'm going to be out in your neighborhood on Friday anyway. I can stop by for about 15, 20 minutes and just kind of show you this and go over it and pick which one you like. And whichever one works best for you, we'll roll with that one. Sound good? Great. I'll see you then. It's as easy as that.
Yep.
And I always, the cash offer is always going to be lower because I'm buying it as an investor.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, and it's, do you need to sell fast or do you want the most money? And most common answer is both. But the way that works is, if you want it sold fast, you're going to have to sell it for less. If you want it, if you want the most money, it's going to take some time. So which one do you want to do? And 9 times out of 10, they will pick to list it.
The data shows that 70% of home sellers actually want a cash offer. Yeah. And then, of course, when they see the cash offer, they're like, what?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's, I think that's 100% true, because the goal of me calling and we've got on this subject, but it's one that I go over a lot, because I want people to be very good at. This is a skill set that has to be learned. It's not something you can do once or twice and pick it up and go, hey, I'm great at this. And people tell me like, Chad, I've been in sales for forever. I don't care. This is a little bit different. So with that, I mean, it's just my whole goal on every single call is just to get my foot in the door. It's just to come in and have a conversation. Yep. I see a lot of agents be, are you open to relisting, and pretty much trying to do the entire listing presentation over the phone. Mm-hmm. And I was going to say, I've seen people that are out of state that, or that are local that, that's worked for me a couple of times, but it's not the norm, No. I mean, under most situations, your goal for calling is to see if you can meet them.
Yeah.
And most people are trying to get the sale, or trying to one call close everybody. I'm like, no, don't do that. Like, that doesn't work. So, and sometimes, I mean, a lot of the people too, they're still going to be good they're going to be good nurturers. Maybe they're not ready to sell right now.
Yeah.
But now you contacted somebody that you can stay in communication with, and just, all this we have automated, but we can also just kind of tell them, they get, emails, all these kind of things like, hey, here's the new rates this week. Here's this. I mean, we just, we just drip information on them. And from that, it's really cool, just because like now they're like, hey, I really like that, Chad, I would like you to come. So when you, all of a sudden, when you get a phone call, a text message, an email, you get an alert saying like, hey, can you come by and take a look at my property now?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, it's a good feeling knowing that just, things are just popping up. So, and I say all this now to finally say this about expireds. If you don't like making calls, that's cool. Bear through it, make enough, and eventually you'll have enough people in your database to where your phone rings. You're not calling people anymore. Your phone will be ringing. So if that's another question I see a lot, it's like, well, how, instead of door knocking, instead of cold calling, instead of all this, how do I get my phone to ring? Do these things, do them consistently, do them every day, and you won't have a problem with your phone ringing. You'll have notifications going off left and right when you have all the systems and processes in place to where your phone will ring with ready to go sellers, ready to go buyers, and your business really won't, you have, I call it freedom, but you have more free time to do the other things that you need to do in your business. So
Walk us through, because again, you've been coaching and training agents for years. Walk us through what you're telling agents right now regarding their schedule. What should their day look like for success?
Okay, so, and this is something that and that's a great question. I think this is very, very important
Yeah.
because if you don't know what to do, and I think we've all heard this saying before, but it's paralysis by analysis. Like you're going to overthink what you need to do until you just don't do anything.
Yep.
And that's the worst thing that I see happening right now is people don't know what to do. And to fix that, we block schedule everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm up every morning and I have a 6:30 meeting with my business partner over various things in our business at 6:30. And people were like, at 6:30? Yeah, at 6:30. So, and then immediately after, I go to the gym, we come back. This is all on my calendar and blocks of how long it should take. If one thing starts to run over, it means you didn't do it fast enough and it's time to go to the next one. So if you fill your complete day out, so at 8 o'clock, mine is from 8 to 11, I've got it blocked out to make phone calls.
Yep.
That's when you're getting all your new business. So whether you're calling your CRM, whether you're calling expired, circle prospecting, calling, like I do mailers a lot that work really well too. And I circle prospect, all the like once I know that they've got the little card.
Yep.
I start circle prospecting those too. And this is stuff I still do. They're like, but you're the team leader. You should. No, you should be doing that.
Yeah.
I lead by example. Like you're going to watch me do this until you know for a fact that it works.
Yep.
And that's so all of this is in my schedule. From 11 o'clock on, that's when you need to be talking to appointments, meeting with people, getting out there, having your face seen. And then from about 4 o'clock, I would say, until whenever your day ends. I usually try to stop my day around 5, but it never seems to happen that way. But which I'm fine with because the people that I work with after 5, these are people that I choose to work with.
Yeah, for sure.
If you're watching this and I'm working with you after 5, it's because I choose to and I enjoy like you're somebody that I enjoy working with. So
I love it.
But yeah, I mean, so after that, it's just
okay. So I hear
that's when they want to be able to talk and see houses, and it's usually the time that my phone starts blowing up too.
For sure. So for the agent out there, because I hear this all the time. Okay, well, I'll circle prospect and I'll farm or hunt in the mornings, but then I don't have any appointments in the afternoon. What do I do? What do you tell them, Chad?
Keep calling. So I mean, and you can do that, and yeah, I mean, eventually, does it get a little bit boring? Yeah, but fall in love with the process. We found a great way just to make it fun. So like right now, I'm sitting down, but I've got a Veridesk and it stands up. So I'm at home right now, but in my office, the office is a little bit more lively. It's fun. We do some things like, and I don't have it sitting here on my desk. That's also in my office, but it's, we stand up to make these phone calls and we can say, I mean, people will say ridiculous things to you. And it's okay to say ridiculous things back. Like, I mean, it doesn't have to be just like strictly professional. I mean, like if you're on the phone with somebody that wants you to come by, I would recommend you be a little bit more professional. But when they're already cutting you off, it's like, we joke back with them. It's just like, oh yeah, well, and you can see how much the house was listed for. I mean, if it's at, 500,000, like, yeah, I'll take 700,000 for it. We're like, really? Like, how'd you come up with that number? I just want that number. Yeah, cool. Is it cool if I give you 9 for it? I mean, and they kind of start laughing. We joke and like, hey, look, you obviously don't really want to sell the house. I'm just, I'm messing with you, but we have fun doing it. So you have to make it fun. And there's all kinds of, we have like a little bingo thing. It's like when you get hung up on 3 times, cross it off, or, when you get like, when somebody, when someone cusses at you, which is going to happen, it's going to happen.
Of course.
When they cuss at you, you mark off another square and it's like, hey, bingo. So cool. So then I start giving out prizes and now it's fun.
I love that.
From the other time, I mean, maybe you're tired of calling expired, circle prospecting, and do all that. Call your database.
Yep.
Like, I mean, so we have a dialer in our CRM, and it's people that you can actually call. And I mean, we've got a huge database. There's never a shortage of people to call, contact. I mean, and we have an automation to where we can actually, send them instant messages and do all this other stuff. We can get a hold of people. Yep. So do that. I mean, you need to make your contacts. You shouldn't have maybe starting off, but like I would say after the first 30 days, you shouldn't have days where you just don't have appointments or somebody to go talk to.
No, no.
And that's, I mean, after that, it's just I mean, we would reevaluate and look. I mean, because we have a 30-day process of how I mean, we're probably not going to give you leads, or we're not going to give you these things coming out of the gate. You
Yep.
need to pass a certain level to get to that point. And I don't know how, I mean, I don't know exactly how you're running your team, but I mean, when you bring on a new team, I mean, is that something that you guys kind of
Oh,
implement
yeah.
too? Or
Yeah,
yeah, it's like,
because there's training. Like, you gotta go through a
yeah,
whole Thrive Week to get leads.
right. I mean, it's like, if I give you leads right now, what would you say? Like, here's 10 buyer leads. Like, show me what you do now. And I'm going to sit
Yeah.
here just like this. And after the
Oh,
10,
yeah.
I'm like, so we just wasted 10 leads. Now, can we go through, let's go do the training.
Yeah, let's
So,
actually figure out what you should be saying to these people. And that's the thing. It's like, as a team leader or business owner, we're spending thousands of dollars to bring this data in for you to call, for you to look like an idiot, and then you make us look like an idiot. Like,
right.
that's not okay. And you just lost the call. Like, they're done. Like, they're never going to talk to us again. It shows, if you look at like market data, the consumer wants an expert. Number one, they think, well, they are more educated now than they've ever been because of the internet. So they think they know what their home is worth always. They think they know what, if they're a buyer, they think what that home is worth always. They always think they know more than us. And unless you've gotten to that like authority level where you can be like, I put people in their place all the time. I remind them, like, I'm pretty sure I've sold more homes than you. Why don't you sit down for a minute? Let me actually tell you what that home is worth. And I think so many agents, new and seasoned, are afraid to take that authority position because they're not highly trained or highly skilled, that they let these buyers and sellers just like pounce on them. And number one, the homes fail to sell. And number two, they lose complete respect for them. How big are you guys on that for training, Chad?
Huge. So like,
Yep.
actually, like the first 30 days, it's kind of like, it's yeah, I mean, I don't want to call it like hell month or anything like that, but it's not something that, I mean, it's not meant to be enjoyable at that
No.
point. It's meant to be a spot where you can take your business from from its infancy to a nice, respectable business, to where I mean, you're constantly having what's that word I'm looking for now? I mean, your pipeline's always full. I mean,
For
you've got
sure.
somebody to talk to at all points. So when, on your time block, when that time is up, you actually have people that you can talk to, that you can run appointments with, that you can do all these things, and you can follow now your calendar the way
Yep.
that's supposed to be made. Otherwise, like your first 30 days, they're just going to go in and just, you know, you'll have nothing. And it's kind of like what the question that you were asking was, what if they don't have this? I'm like, well, then they failed somewhere in the first 30 days of our training, and we need to go back and evaluate what that was and find out. And we just break everything down. We go a little bit deeper than just reverse engineering now, because I think everybody's like pretty familiar with reverse engineering.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's like, well, what are you not doing? And so we listen to the calls. We listen to the calls with our agents.
Oh,
And
yeah.
what do you think you could do better? Like, where do you think? And I don't give them the answers until it's time for them to just say, like, look, I don't know. I'm like, okay, look, like you said this, you walked right into a trap of them being able to say this. So
Mhm.
it's, and 100% to your last point as well. I love that. Um, a lot of agents, I mean, I'll talk to them, and like if I'm working the other side of a transaction, or if I'm helping an agent out, that it's just like saying like, hey, their sellers won't let them. I'm like, what do you mean their client or whatever, their client won't let them? I'm like, you need to take control of this right now then, because your
Yeah.
client's not a real estate specialist, you are. And
Correct.
and with that being said too, there's three things on my list of appointments that there's three phrases I've just stopped using, because the I feel like most people, they just view these as all bad words. So,
Oh, yeah.
and unfortunately, the first one is realtor. I don't call myself a realtor. I don't use the word realtor when I'm talking to people, or prospective clients. I don't use it. I don't use real estate agent either, though. So I don't use that. And another one that I won't use is CMA. And the reason why behind all of those things is because when you go on a listing appointment, you can expect that if they're interviewing multiple candidates, they're going to use those phrases.
Oh, yeah.
So we still do. I mean, I don't know if you still use, if you ever have even used Focus First But
Yeah.
I mean, we use a similar program, like kind of like Focus First, but it just breaks everything down to where I don't even have to say CMA or anything like that. To where it's just like, look, this is just what it's going to be. This is what I would list it at. If you don't like that, I get it. If you want more for that, there will be a brand new agent that comes along that's been in the business for about a year or so that will be happy to list it for that. But, however long your term is, once that runs out and the house doesn't sell, feel free to give me a call.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't list homes, I sell homes.
Yeah. I love that.
And most people are just like, well, what if by some freak chance it did sell and shouldn't you just take them all? And I'm like, no, because I don't want a pipeline of people whose houses are just never going to sell sitting there. I was like, because I still have to I still my time, my energy, my effort. It's all these things that I'm still putting out there that on a home that I don't believe will sell for that price. I know what the house will sell. I've been around here for a long time. I know this. Like, these are things that I just know.
Yeah.
And it's either you can take my word for it or you can go with a brand new agent. So
what I think
I know experts, and I know I say real estate specialists because it's all encompassing. So if you want commercial, great, I can help you with that. Yep. Real estate agents are like, okay, they're going to help you buy and sell a house. Well, great. I'm helping you with commercial. I can help you with development. I can help you, with every aspect of real estate, because I'm not just, I'm not a real estate agent. I'm a real estate specialist.
Yep.
So,
and I'm highly trained.
Yeah, exactly. And plus, and this is the capper on top. And plus, most likely, the real estate agent that's going to come in to help you sell your house, I probably trained them. So if we sound a little similar, they say some of the things that I've already said, that's why. So, this is my price, and this is what this is what it should be. If you don't like that price, hey, I get it. I mean, I really don't, but this is what it was sold for. And, and if I need to walk out of a listing, I'll walk out of a listing presentation. I know there's going to be plenty more. That's the one thing that I would say to remember. Know that you don't have to win them all. Win the majority. And if people are just not cooperating, that's okay. You're going to have people that do want your help.
Yeah. One thing that's super cool, Chad, is like your lingo. You can tell that we're highly trained. Like the things that we say, like when you said, "Do you use this?" I'm like, "Oh, yep." And when you
I use that. So, yeah.
It's so funny because we were trained, and that's what we do. And so it's super cool to hear you talk like that, because no one outside of hardly us and a few others train agents like we do. They just don't. The average agent out there sucks. They are making our industry just ridiculously horrible, and it's mind-blowing and unethical on top of all of that. It's mind-blowing. And it's like, if you're taking this number one oath and then you got your license, this is a career, just like a lawyer, just like an insurance agent. This is your career path. You are a professional. You need to be trained as such, and you need to act as such. With y'all's modern day mentoring, kind of walk through that, because that is something new, and I want you to have a few minutes to talk about that before we have to close. What is that?
Sure. So we know that there's a lot of coaching programs, and it's the modern day mentor, not because mentor sounds good with modern day or anything like that, but a mentor and a coach, they're kind of two different things. A coach is going to coach over a system that they've been taught, or that they know, or over some specific things that they've been taught that they know about. We're actually going over the things that we're doing. And so that's what a mentor is. So at a previous brokerage I was with, I had the privilege of being, a brokerage mentor to a lot of people. And it's exactly going over what I do. And so they were like, wow. And a lot of them ended up being on my team. So, from being a mentor. But what we're doing is we're customizing where you're at in your level of business. If you are not at the level, that you think that you are, then, we tell you, like, hey, look, I know you think you're at like a level 3, but you're a level 1, and we got to start at a level 1. Or you may be at a level 3, but it's not scalable at all. You're not close to that. You got lucky last year by doing this. Can you do it again? What would you do? How would you make this happen again?
Yep.
I don't know. Okay, we're gonna go back to level 1 now. Then.
Yeah.
And we're very honest with them, and we set up. So this is something that I started doing. I started setting up their marketing for them. I started setting up what they can do. So like things that they need to do. We started giving them a CRM that is actually functional and actually works better than the majority of, I mean, because that seems to be another big topic out there is what CRM should I use? I'm like, the one that you will use, like the one that works properly. But we have AI plugs it. I mean, it goes like, I mean, 7 to 10 layers deep on conversation before you even have to jump in. I mean, we use that as a tool, not a crutch.
Yeah.
But the AI, I mean, if you're just busy, the AI can hold that conversation with. I think AI is huge too. This is another thing I can go on and on about. But we do all of these things. We have AI running, you know, the ads and all the different things that they're doing now, so that they're getting the leads but converting them. So before we even give them the leads, we teach them how to convert the leads that they're about to start getting. Because guess what? When the agents that say, I need more leads, and then they can't close them. The first thing that they blame is the leads. And if you gave them the leads, then it's your fault now.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, Chad, these leads are horrible. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm killing them with these leads. Our entire team's killing them with these leads. How are these leads horrible?
Yep.
And from there, it's just kind of like, well, I'm not converting it. And I go back and I make I track everything. So I can look at, I'm like, oh, cool. They've been sitting there. You haven't called one of them in, you know, over 2 weeks. And, you know, the speed to lead thing that we talked about, that's not there. So you need to be calling them, and that's why you're not closing them. So and we do and I think the great thing about this is exactly what you were saying earlier. There's so many agents out there that are making us look bad, which is why I don't use these three the three phrases, because I don't want to be considered to be one of those.
No.
But and it sounds kind of it sounds like like I'm pissed off at a lot of agents. It's not that. It's they either need to go because they had the wrong mindset, or they need to. If they don't have the wrong mindset, they do have a growth mindset. They just don't know what they don't know. Then they need. This is something that we put together to where it goes. The price range starts at free to as much as you need to go, depending on where you're at in your business. So we have all kinds of options for that too, and it includes the marketing. It includes teaching you how to market yourself, not having to rely on paying people thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars every month, and then you pay your ad spend, and then you pay all this other stuff. I mean, it's something that you can do yourself to save yourself from money, increase your ROI, and it's like, well, let's it's like let's I don't want to say this, but let's make agents great. So,
I love that.
And that's for and the one thing that we ask is like, cool, if we choose to come in and accept you, we need you to have a growth mindset. Like, if you don't like what we're saying, just try it, do it anyway, and give us your feedback. But I'm going to tell you, like, whatever feedback you give us, I mean, these are proven, repeatable systems that we know that work. So I'm not going to listen that much to you. Like, sorry, I don't mean to sound like an ass, but that's just how it is.
It is. And I love what you just said, proven repeatable systems. Like people should just listen to us. Like, we train these agents to go in there. I go on listing appointments for our team. In fact, I'm going on 2 this afternoon with 2 different agents. I'm like, I'm going to go show you how to do this. Like and they'll sit there right next to me and they'll record me. So they hear, because I'm very like type A. I'm not a visual person where I'm going to go in there and show you a bunch of crap. I'm coming in there. I'm building rapport, number one. Like, remember Jay would always say, when you're going into a listing appointment, you need to build rapport with them first. He used to say when he was in production, he said, I'd walk around that house with them and take a home tour with them until I found something in there in commonality with them. Like, even if I had to go look at the garage, like, I'm not getting to that kitchen table until I found some way to have something in common with them to become their friend. Then we're going to the table. It's like,
right.
People get so hung up on like everything is like robotic. Like, I tell people when I train about listings, I go, number one, you're going to hear coaches tell you like you need to get in and out of there 30 minutes. Like, that's BS. Number one, this is the largest asset they'll probably ever own. You may be in that appointment. I mean, sometimes 2 and 3 hours, like whatever it takes, because I'm walking out the door with that thing. So let's get off the mindset of just not trying to build rapport and not trying to become their friend. I look at everyone, unfortunately, it's not terrible, but as dollar signs. Like, I'm walking in there, there's $25,000 sitting there. I'm going to get it. That's mine.
So and I love that you said that, because yes, I've had a coach that said it should take no longer than 15 to 20 minutes to do a listing presentation and to be out. And I'm like, okay, great. But no, I have an 84-year-old client right now whose home that she's lived in for over 50 years has now been zoned commercial, and the city's even trying to kind of force her out of it.
Oh,
And she apparently does not get that much company, but she's the sweetest lady in the world. And she just wanted to talk. And right now I've got it. I think it's at that was at like 1.2, something like that. But I sat there for 4 hours. Literally, I sat there for 4 hours and just had a conversation with her. And she's like, Chad, I love you so much. It's whatever you, she was just here. Just, do you have where do I need? Just tell me where to start. She didn't read anything. She was just like, whatever you need to do, you just go ahead and do it. And just, I trust you. So, and now, I mean, she's one of the best clients in the world that I have. Like, if I ever need anything, sure, sweetheart, whatever you need, honey, just come over here. And spending time with people is how you get. I mean, this is, and I'm looking at the clock too, but
I know we have a hard stop in a minute, y'all.
Okay.
We can talk forever. But, we're both trained.
But but when you spend time with those people, like I look at this too. I see dollar signs, but I'm also looking at not just the $1 sign. I'm looking at who are they going to refer me to in the same price point at the $1.2 million, because I did sit here. How many more listens am I going to get because I did spend the time to get to know them?
Yep.
And that's important too. And that's something that I do talk about in my listing present events. Like I'll go through and walk through. It takes about 2 hours to go to do, one of these events to answer the questions and make sure that they know everything. But when you spend that kind of time with people, do you not think that they're gonna like, I mean, they're gonna tell you like, this is more than just this is more than an agent. This is more than a realtor.
Oh yeah.
You need to call Chad. And they may not even have, she was telling me, my niece might need to sell something for her. I mean, she's just sending everybody my way, and I love it. So, I mean, and that's the majority of my clients. So at the end of this month, I'm actually, I'm smoking a brisket. I'm from Texas. I do Texas stuff. So I smoke briskets and, smoke ribs, smoke everything. But we're having a potluck for one of the developments that I did. And so all the new residents are going to show up, and I'm like, well, what do I need to bring? And she's like, do you just need to show up? Just, and she's out out in the country too. So you just show up. You did enough. You helped me with, I'll bring, I'm like, well, I can smoke a brisket. Well, if you can smoke a brisket, bring one of those too. So I was like, I'm going to bring two because I don't know how many people are going to be there. So I'm going to smoke some briskets. Like I said, and I enjoy it. I was like,
for sure.
And everyone's heard this saying too, but right now I have more of my past clients that are friends than I have friends that end up being my clients. And I believe that wholeheartedly. So
I do too.
I think if you stick with it, with just some of those things, like some of those little things like that, I think that you'll have a full schedule. And I don't think that any of the problems that a lot of agents are saying that they have, like, especially like in these groups, I think if you stay off the group, stop listening to the hype, stop listening to all the BS and stuff like that, I think you'll be fine. I think if you have the system, if you have the program, the process, you have the block calendar, and you know what to do every single day, those things right there alone should get you to where you're going without a problem.
Yeah. So as we're closing out, you've heard Chad tell you, show up, do the work, have a schedule, have a mentor too, be part of something. Hey, Chad, where can they get a hold of you to learn more about you being a mentor or your organization?
Yeah, so I can either drop a link, or you can. I'll do one better. If you write this down, this is my direct cell phone number. So I've got a couple of cell phones, but call this one, 972-658-7462. Or if you drop in the comments, I'll tell you what. Once we get this out, Trisha, if you don't mind, I can drop a link to where they can actually click on and start filling things out. And like I said, we have price ranges from free to whatever. So I mean, we have a scholarship program. So if you really need help, we have options for that. Yep. So it's we don't like turning people down that have a growth mindset and they could be a great agent. They just don't have the mentorship yet.
For sure.
I think that's something that I was so blessed about, and I'm glad that Faith was part of that. I feel very blessed that I've been able to have several of what I consider, the nation's, greatest real estate mentors
for sure.
help me out with this stuff. So
same, yeah.
We're
highly trained. Yeah,
it's what
we're highly trained, and
exactly.
Others,
that's. And I think everybody needs a mentor. Everybody needs help. Nobody. I mean, trying to do it alone, it's pretty tough. Like,
It
I'm not
is.
gonna lie about that. It gets pretty tough. So having somebody there to kind of tell you what's happening, I think that's huge.
It is. You guys, the market's tough, yes, but we're almost through this, you guys, and the election's not that far away. And I think once we get past this stupid insanity that we're going through right now, the tide is gonna change. And I remain optimistic. I think you got to be, though, highly trained and highly skilled. You got to pay attention to who you're paying attention to. Tune in to Rise and Thrive, of course, every week, because you're going to get trained and you're going to hear from expert advisors on how to grow your business and how to stay in business. Chad, final words for everybody.
Stack your listings. Don't if they're sitting on the market a little longer than what they have been, don't let that scare you off. Stack your listings, because Trisha is 100% correct. Once this thing turns and once the election, once all this has happened, it's you're going to be sitting great.
I love this. Thank you, Chad, for doing this. I could sit here and talk to you all day long. It's like,
but no, this is it's like, I mean, I've known you for a while and it sounds great. I always have fun, kind of going back and forth, just masterminding with each other.
Yeah, too, so. For sure. Watch for Chad. We're bringing him to Houston soon too, you guys. We're doing an event soon.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to. So
yeah, you guys have an amazing day.
All right, bye, you guys do the same. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure being here. So
for sure. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.